Media.
So we do this every day. Joburg to Kaapstad. We connect and we do this time round. So we got about 3 minutes to do just that. Who do we have today? Ghulam Fakir, Sabira Sheikh Esop. Let's see. It's like a mystery. We'll find out. Okay, we got
Assalamualaikum, Ashraf.
Hufa me bro.
Alhamdulillah, Ufa, Ashraf.
Alhamdulillah. 9 down. We like almost 1/3 of the fasting month done. Incredibly. How's it going? What do you want to raise today?
Well, day 9, of course, of the month of Ramadan has been going quite good, Alhamdulillah, here in Cape Town. Time flies, especially, and you realize that when it reaches the month of Ramadan. But Ashraf, you know what? Two things quickly that's happening in Cape Town. At this point in time, a lot of First of all, they're investigating the cause of the fire. Apparently, somebody had been arrested for that. So they're busy investigating that at this point in time. But it has also been said that this has been reported before. Before the fire even started, the residents have raised concerns to the city to let them know we are vegans on our land, or not on the land, but on the mountain. They're making open fires and so forth. Please, can you act on it? So they were kind of warned about it. So the city is now taking this very seriously to investigate the matter. So we'll see how that plays out. We also saw that the by-elections that took place on another note, Ashraf, the by-elections that took place over the last few days, I believe it closed last night. The polls are closed last night. The tallies are now coming in. And one of the areas that was contesting in the elections, in the by-elections, was an area Ward 20 out in Delft in Eindhoven, which is also one of the areas here on the Cape Flats, and also a ward councillor, for example, that has been very quiet, very silent, and so we will have to see how that plays out as well. But 3 of the main wards that contested in the province were Beaufort West. We also saw Ward 11 out in Knysna, and then there was another one that also participated in the elections as well. And talking about that, we also saw last night that the president announced that the elections will be taking place on the 27th, the local elections on the 27th of October 2021. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Ashraf, obviously we also saw now, even before this was announced, there was this whole tally, especially in Cape Town, with the smaller political parties, that they actually had some concerns about having the elections, considering the fact that the timeline was, very time constraining. And that, of course, obviously also pushed political analysts to come out and say, hey, but, the Constitution says that we need to have the elections, and these are the stipulated guidelines. So it seems like the president has made his call, and that's going to be happening out on the 27th of October.
Okay, we'll see what happens then. I think you need to go, right? Otherwise, I can talk to you, but I know if you need to go, you need to go, yeah?
Yeah, we need to wrap up, but we still need to have a discussion around the Booba also some other time, because remember you said that you wanted somebody to invite you, Ashraf, and the team, so that we can come and have Booba one night.
I'm waiting. Well, listen, anybody from Cape Town listening on Voice of the Cape specifically, if you're enjoying our conversation right now, just tell us. You can actually comment to VOC, and then they'll pass it on to me, because I want to know if it's a thumbs up. Just let us know. We'd love to know whether you think. Now, I'm going to presume you need to run, because you're going to do your first day of shopping for Eid, for Labarak. So, okay, you need to go.
Alaikum. Not today, but you can very much for your time, Ashraf. We'll do this again tomorrow morning or over the wireless, inshallah. You and the team, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Perfect. Thank you. Wa alaikum salam. So I wonder, when is the first? I'm suggesting that Ghulam Fakir is going to do his Eid or Labarak shopping. When is the first day you're going to do shopping for Eid? Have you done that already? Remember last year, in fact, we didn't shop. I think we didn't shop. It was extreme lockdown. It was only just your own home. So I can't imagine anybody actually had Eid clothing last year. This year is going to be different. So what day do you start traditionally shopping? My wife always said traditionally she would shop for Eid before Ramadan, because honestly, she couldn't take the Eid shopping in Ramadan. The headaches would just drive her mad, and the crowds at shopping malls. But it's all different this time around, okay? Understand we've got some, Rahima's with me, of course. We've got some feedback, as always, with people via WhatsApp notes, and I really love that. What have we got?
Assalamu alaikum, listeners. Thank you, Ashraf. So I've got a Zai Jadvat that's given us quite an interesting opinion. He says, on the political parties canvassing story we've got preparing for the elections, it will be both ways for political parties. They'd be disadvantaged and they won't. Political parties wouldn't exactly be disadvantaged when it comes to campaigning in cities, because just like much else during the pandemic, they can reach their audience easily via online channels. The challenge, however, and the disadvantage is for parties in rural areas, because that's where people have trouble accessing the internet. Now, he makes an interesting point, because this speaks to the huge disparity within our society. And
Absolutely.
also what you mentioned earlier on, online channels, like as happened since COVID, has to be majorly used now.
Absolutely. And
Thanks,
there's a
Ashraf.
connection with Salaamedia. So he's obviously not in school right now. I mean, I'm just making the point. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Anything else? Any other feedback? Any other
Right
comment?
now, not yet.
Okay, yeah. Anything you want to pick up on in terms of what we've discussed so far? I mean, particularly with regard to schooling?
I think the most interesting thing that Abdullah Suji mentioned is that kids will be kids. And I think if there's anything we've seen, it's just that. There's been a time where, from my understanding, if you're under 6, you don't have to wear masks.
Yeah.
And I guess the positive in some way is that, from what I understand, COVID hasn't specifically focused on kids insofar as them being a high risk.
Yeah, but by and large, it's been fine. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank goodness for that. So yeah, it just
And kids
very,
are
very
missing school. Kids want to go back to school. They miss their friends. They need
Yeah,
to socialize.
absolutely.
That mental and emotional a need for them to socialize and be with other people, I think in many ways is imperative. And it's definitely a discussion to have, as you see parents weighing up the two, concerns about getting COVID, but at the same time, concerns about the children's mental and emotional well-being.
Yeah,
It's a necessary.
And I think the other part is that one, especially for the broader South African community, that access to schooling, to learning via Wi-Fi connectivity is fine if you have it. For thousands of South Africans, it's still not there. It's not obvious, right? For the middle class, they've got it, but even they battle with shrinking revenues. But they'll make a plan, maybe, I don't know. But for the others, no, it's not that simple. I know a lot of it has been donated still, but it's a problem. And the other part around online is that it hasn't worked as well in some school environments as others. So some of them, maybe they just had the right teachers who understand it, who just got it, and they've just been very, very savvy around it, so it's worked well. For others,
Exactly.
there's been a massive disconnection. So the suggestion is that, in fact, the results in terms of output, I'm not worried about who passed, because maybe everybody will pass at 30%, I don't know. But the more important one is the actual learnings. These kids have been severely disadvantaged this entire year.
Exactly. And I think one of the important things to note is that not just disadvantaged for some insofar with regards to those who have access to Wi-Fi and online learning platforms, but they've been socially disadvantaged in the developmental process of needing to have certain school functions, sports days, recreational activities. I think that definitely jeopardizes their development as individual human beings. But also I wanted to add that I think one of the most important things we also need to consider is the fact that if there's anything we've learned out of COVID, is that you cannot replace human interaction. So as much as there's been a huge trend, a huge move towards digitalizing, whether it's business, whether it's schooling, whether it's meetings and so forth, there's a huge lack of human connection. And I think that's something we definitely need to
Absolutely.
still
Yeah,
have.
well, that's an important one. By the way, today is a very important day in the world. Do you know what it is? I'll tell you right after this.
A man of charm.
When we look at the morning, we thank